Thanks for watching, and thanks to all of our subscribers. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. After 2 nights in a room and 1 night in the campsite at the Opuwa Country Lodge, having had our laundry done and restocked, Rod and I departed for the VanZyls Pass community campsite. We had done a lot of research since we built the cruiser, as Rod had been determined from day one that someday we would take on VanZyls. Anyone who has watched any of our previous videos will have figured out by now that I am a wimp. So I was not as enthusiastic as Rod, but hell, you only live once. It took us the best part of the day to reach the VanZyls community campsite. We were experimenting with the drone on the way, and once we turned off the D3703, the going got rough. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I do answer every single comment. If you are enjoying this series, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe. We are trying to grow our channel and would really appreciate the help. Thank you. We were not quite alone on the planet. There were Himba villages here and there, and of course, many goats and many cows.
Got some of these beautiful they're not Impala, they are an African lily. Here we go. It's called a wild sage. It's essentially a wild cap, but you are supporting the community. We paid 100 Namibian dollars each, which is obviously 100 South African rand. So there was water at one stage, as you can see, but it hasn't been working for a long time. All the reviews I read over the past couple of months have said no water, no water, no water. But that's fine, we've got our own.
The campsite is lovely, almost eerily silent, which was welcome after the noise of the campsite at the Opuwa Country Lodge. We had an early dinner, and after breakfast, we launched our VanZyls Pass Solo Campaign 2024. Before the pass, we shook hands and agreed to be kind to each other and communicate clearly to safely navigate the obstacles. It took longer than expected to reach the trailhead, and the first couple of obstacles were fairly uncomplicated, so we used the opportunity to refine our strategy. We had considered deploying our walkie-talkies, but determined that hand signals would be best. VanZyls Pass was built by Ben VanZyl and 20 labourers, by hand, in the 1960s. Since then, it has been rebuilt by all the 4x4 enthusiasts who faced the challenge. We were no exception and partook in the odd bit of road building ourselves. We encountered a local who would perhaps complete the pass before we did, and after explaining to him what we were doing, he went on his way. We established a rhythm and got on with the task. Having viewed so many videos, we had an idea of where the big challenges were. What we were not prepared for was the sheer exuberant beauty of the pass. In early May, the trees and grass were still fairly green, even though most of the rivers we crossed were dry. We met more people along the way, and I absolutely loved this lady's traditional outfit. We did of course get permission before we took the photograph. Anyone who knows anything about VanZyls Pass knows that there is one really long, really steep drop-off. Rod and I spent about 20 minutes solving this puzzle and moving rocks about. It is most disconcerting to see a 3-ton cruiser with one leg in the air. I'm not sure what it felt like to Rod in the driver's seat, but I was fairly well spooked. Rod took this video with his iPhone, clearly a warning for what could happen if you failed this part of the challenge. We have much more footage in terms of the obstacles, the road conditions, that kind of thing. Please add a comment if you would like more information. I would also like to mention that while we were solo in the vehicle, we do have a get out of jail free card in the form of our InReach Mini satellite text device. It goes everywhere we go, and if we really get in trouble, it has an SOS function. We stopped for a rest and to gather our thoughts. Rod set up his drone, but it was too windy, so we enjoyed the view for what it was.
Hello, darling. How are you feeling right now?
I'm a bit shell-shocked.
That was a hectic section we just went through now. But we've done the whole thing.
We haven't.
We have.
We haven't.
Okay. But let's see. But you've done very well.
Darling,
You're an absolute star.
You've been spectacular. And the cruiser, I think we should call it VanZyls. Okay? This has been like, other than the dunes, I think this has been the thing you've looked most forward to, or not?
Yeah, look, I mean, I really wanted to do it. It's one of the things on my bucket list. So it's really nice to be able to do it. And I take my hat off to my wife going with me and saying, okay, I don't mind, we can go and do it.
The journey through the pass took us longer than expected, as we took time to enjoy the scenery that surrounded us, to hear the wind in the trees and see it playing in the grass, with the mountains towering above. Man, it's a privilege to live in Africa. Perhaps we were overly cautious as we were solo, but our luck held, until about 10 meters from the end. We drove over a rock that split and cut our tyre. I could hear the air rushing out. We hobbled to a stop under a huge tree and quickly replaced the tyre with one of our 2 spares. There were a couple of local kids watching their goats who found this very entertaining. We gave them some fruit and some fresh water, although perhaps they would have preferred a Coke. Rod has an electric jack and an electric wheel spanner to make life easier, but of course we do have the manual kit as a backup, and we do carry 2 spare wheels. We did not have any concrete plans after VanZyls. We knew there were a couple of likely campsites, and at the Red Drum we decided to spend the night at the Marble Hill campsite. The Marienfluss was golden and susurrating in the breeze. To the north, the Baines and Zebra Mountains loomed, and behind us were the Ocha Hippo Mountains. Rod performed a 360 to provide a good view on the center camera, which is mounted to our rooftop tent. We would travel through the Zebra Mountains en route to Angola. I'm going to say it again. Videos don't do justice to the beauty that is the cocoa land of Namibia. We honestly were blown away. Perhaps Joubert's Pass, or Red Drum Pass as I've heard it called, should be better documented. The road is similar to VanZyls in that it is narrow and rutted with huge boulders in places. It's certainly no cakewalk. There is another of Trevor Knott's stone men lounging on a wee cliff along Joubert's Pass. This is number 30. We did not see a caption, but this stone man looked like he was hanging out in his baggies, catching a tan. Road rattled and weary, we rolled into the Marble Hill campsite and were pleasantly surprised by the facilities and the beauty of the campsite. A couple of hot showers later, we had pork chops for dinner and a very early night. It was here that we learned that the Coquelin stone men were sculpted by Trevor Knott, and that until recently he had owned the Marble Hill campsite and the house on the hill. Due to the loss of one of our spare wheels, we had determined to head back to Opuwa the following day to find a replacement and plan our route into Angola. We encountered another stone man along the way. It would take us the best part of the day to return to Opuwa. We passed the White Drum, which I found so interesting. I could have stayed there much longer, but Rod was keen to press on.
This drum was put here in May 1918 by a group of friends and something lovers of the nature and Namibia. And we've got some kind of, it's a clock, but maybe it's a sundial. I'm not certain. If it's a sundial, it's lost its gnomon. And then little different bits of information. Here in the back, there's a full moon calendar, and we do have 2024. You can't really see it, but it says the 25th of March, I think. Oh, and the 24th of April, which is yesterday. Yes, we definitely had full moon on the 24th of April. This is grand. And then some information about the Coquelin. Good stuff. We're on the exit road out of Marienfluss, heading back towards Opuwa, and we've come across another stone sculpture. This is number 27, and he says he's heading for number 1 because there's a big gathering. I know one is not supposed to have favorites, but all the photos I've seen, I don't know. I really, really, really like him. If I can show some of the detail. Look at his feet. And I don't know how you say there's an expression in the stone, but I think it looks like determination. And then he's clearly ready for the gathering. He's got his little knapsack, and then, as I said, he's heading for number 1. There's a big gathering. He's our Mr. 27. Hello, fellow. I'm sorry that the birds have pooped on you, but I suppose that happens. It's an amazing mountain. It looked like it rained all these little stones.
What joy to be travelling through these beautiful craggy mountains. The drive was long but in no way tedious. I was on high alert looking for more stone men. We had elected to stay at the Kuroko Mapani campsite, which is 3 kilometers outside of Opuwa, and it's 37 bars. That was a really good call, and we actually spent 4 days there while we tracked down an appropriately sized tyre and made our plans for Angola. En route to Angola, we spent a couple of days exploring the Opuwa Falls. Join us for some really beautiful scenery. Thanks so much for watching.